Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. So there's some Dharma School folks. Hi, a few folks here today. So do you recognize what I read? Yeah? What's it from? Do you remember what it's called? Anybody? It's from our pledge. On the blue handout in your sheets, which we'll all say together at the end of this part of service. So this was written by the current head of Jodo Shinshu, the Nishi Honganji branch in the world, the current Monshu. And so it's what I want to talk about today, compassion. So what is compassion? We'll start, like I'm a professor, so I'm always asking. So Dharma School students, the few of you who are here, what's compassion mean to you? Yeah. Question's compassion. Anybody, what does compassion mean to you? Caring about other people. Thank you for saying that. You're caring for me by answering the question too. I'm approaching, this coming week is Dead Week at PLU, so we're heading into exhaustion among students, so I can feel that in myself. Yeah, so compassion. I'm just going to talk a little bit about that today for the Dharma School portion of the talk. Compassion, caring about others. It's a key Buddhist value. The Sanskrit word for this is karuna, and you may get additional practice saying that during the next talk today. In Japanese, it's jihi is the term that's used. There's a little bit of audience participation today, but it's internal. So sometimes I ask you to talk to each other, sometimes I ask you to do internal things. I'd like everyone to just close your eyes. Try to remember or imagine a time when you felt compassion for someone else. If you can remember the situation or their face, try to imagine that. Okay, you can open your eyes. What does that feel like? It's hard to put it into words, but it feels like something, right? I think that's important. As we think about compassion and that feeling and caring for others, sometimes people also bring up the term empathy and compassion. This is something that, so as I think most folks know, I spent a year working as a hospital chaplain here at St. Joe's. I mean, it's one of the things we think about in spiritual care, the discipline of spiritual care is empathy and compassion. What's different about them? And there is a difference, at least from a Buddhist perspective, and Buddhist perspective of care, right? And we're all here to listen to the Dharma. Empathy is about that first part of it, feeling into someone else's feelings, seeing someone in suffering or in joy, and then feeling that feeling. That's generally what we mean by empathy. Right? And this is definitely a positive thing to have. We also feel empathy in different levels, right? Like we definitely feel a lot more feelings. We can feel them a lot more when we're younger. It might be easier to access those feelings. And it's certainly easier to feel empathetic about people who are near to us, right? People who we love, people in our families, people who are like us, right? It's very easy to have empathy, but it can be difficult to have empathy with people who are far away. It can also be dangerous, empathy, because it can hurt us. Right? If you are just an open receptor for people's feelings, then you take on a lot throughout your life. And this is certainly, again, something that chaplains and anyone working in healthcare is familiar with. Right? How do you manage caring for others without taking on their whole burden? And this is kind of the difference in compassion in Buddhism. Compassion is that feeling of feeling, seeing, recognizing, knowing, I see your pain, I see your happiness, having that feeling of feeling into those feelings, and then moving to, and I want you to be well. In Buddhism, they differentiate compassion from loving kindness. We used to read metta. Some people who graduated from Dharma school here might remember when we used to read the metta prayer. Metta is wanting others to be happy. And compassion in a really, as you know, Buddhists, we love our lists, right? Whereas metta and there's karuna, and karuna is wanting others not to suffer. So we're motivated by a desire for others not to suffer. And neuroscience actually has found that when you have people practice, like what I just had you do, a time you felt compassion, if you have people practice empathy and you have them practice compassion and you look at their brains, there are different parts of the brain that light up for empathy and compassion. And empathy is connected closely to the pain centers, which is surprising, but compassion is connected to pleasure centers in the brain. You can take joy in other people being happy and not suffering. So compassion is really important. It's important for us in Buddhism. It's one of the key features of Buddhism. In Mahayana Buddhism, the kind of Buddhism that our Jodo Shinshu, the larger tent that we're part of, compassion is the fundamental orientation. It guides all ethics. It guides all the practice, all the behavior is compassion. Seeing others, seeing their distress and wanting them to be free of that. So at first I had you close your eyes and visualize, and I asked you how to feel, what you were feeling about compassion. Compassion is a feeling, but compassion is also something we can grow. We can cultivate compassion. It's not something we talk about explicitly in the Jodo Shinshu tradition, but we talk about it all the time. Sensei talks about it. Whenever people get up here to talk to Dharma school, compassion is in the background. Even if they're not saying it, it's there. So today I'm going to give you a little formal practice that you can take on. So once again, close your eyes. And feel your breathing. Breathe. If it's fast, just kind of slow it down a little, but you don't have to control your breath. So now call to mind someone you know who's going through a hard time. If you can picture their face or their voice, picture someone you know who's going through a hard time. Imagine how they might be feeling right now. Imagine how they might be feeling right now. And now in your own feelings, see that difficulty and wish them well. Wish that they were able to navigate that hard time or get out of it. And if you want to, in your mind, you can just say the name of the person. May you be free from distress. You can open your eyes, everyone. Thank you. So we feel into someone's feelings, and then we don't stay there. We move into the goodwill, the positive will of wanting them to be free from distress. I won't ask you to do this today, but you can also do this to people that you are having a hard time with, if you're there, depending on the person. And this is a Buddhist practice that's widely recommended, and it's also a practice recommended by psychologists and therapists. If it's safe for you in your world, in your mental feelings, in your heart, you can call to mind someone who you're having a hard time with. And you can think about the challenges they're facing, and you can wish them well. It doesn't excuse them, but it can provide some change. And as we're all Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, I would say if you ever do this practice, I would encourage you to end with the Nembutsu. So can you all please join me in Gassho? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you.